The sky above the core capital burned with the light of twin suns. Below, the grand execution arena stood like a massive stone bowl carved from black rock. Thousands of alien spectators filled the seats, their faces glowing with excitement. The air was heavy with noise, cheers, chants, and the metallic ring of drums. They had come to witness a special event, an execution. But not just any execution. A human was going to die today. Inside a dark holding cell beneath the arena, the human sat calmly. His name was Cole. He wore torn clothes, his wrists bound with electric cuffs that sent a dull pulse into his skin every few seconds. His face was dirty, his body bruised from beatings, yet his eyes were calm, not angry or afraid. A small door opened. A core guard stepped inside. Tall, armored, and horned, he looked down at Cole with disgust. "Time to face justice," the guard growled in a deep, rumbling voice. Cole stood up slowly. He didn't resist. The guard grabbed the chain between his cuffs and pulled him forward. Two more guards joined, surrounding him as they led him through a long tunnel that opened into light. As Cole stepped into the arena, the noise of the crowd exploded like thunder. Alien voices shouted from all sides. Most had never seen a human, in person. Now they would see one die. In the center of the arena stood a tall platform made of stone. A dark figure stood upon it, the executioner known as Vorak. Vorak was feared across dozens of star systems. His armor was black, trimmed with silver spikes, and his helmet shaped like the skull of a beast. His weapon was even more famous, an energy blade that shimmered with bright, shifting colors. It had never missed, never failed. Every swing or throw had ended a life. Guards forced Cole to his knees on the stone platform. He looked up and met Vorak's eyes through the glowing slits of his helmet. The executioner did not speak. He raised the blade slowly, turning to show the weapon to the crowd. They roared in approval. A tall alien priest stepped forward, his robes covered in glowing symbols. "This human is charged with spying, spreading lies, and encouraging rebellion," the priest announced. "He shall now face the blade. Justice shall be served." Cole said nothing. The priest moved back. Vorak took his position. He stood at the edge of the platform, blade in hand, ready to throw it like a spear. His arm rose. Time seemed to slow. The crowd held its breath. The blade hissed as energy built around it. Then, Vorak threw it. It sliced through the air like a bolt of lightning, aimed straight for Cole's chest. But what happened next shocked the entire arena. Cole's right hand moved fast, faster than any alien could follow. He lifted it up, open palm facing the flying blade, and caught it. There was a bright flash. Silence. No one spoke. No one moved. The blade, still glowing, was in Cole's hand. Not cutting him. Not burning him. He was holding it like it was a normal object. Even Vorak stepped back in disbelief. Cole stood up slowly. He looked at the weapon. The handle fit perfectly in his grip, as if it had always been his. He looked up at the executioner, then at the silent crowd. "Not today," he said quietly. The crowd finally reacted, first with gasps, then loud shouts of confusion. Some stood, some pointed, some screamed. Vorak motioned to his guards, but even they hesitated, unsure what to do. Cole dropped the blade to the ground. It made a soft clang as it bounced and rolled to Vorak's feet. Two guards rushed forward and grabbed Cole by the arms again. He didn't resist. He simply stared straight ahead as they dragged him away. But everything had changed. Later that day, in a dark chamber deep below the arena, 3 alien leaders stood around a glowing table. A hologram replayed the scene again and again, Vorak throwing the blade, Cole catching it. "How did he do that?" one asked. "No species has ever resisted the executioner's blade. No one has ever touched it and lived," said another. "Is he using forbidden technology?" asked the third. They looked at the recording again. Nothing hidden, nothing fake. One thing was clear. The human had done something impossible. Back in his cell, Cole sat alone. His cuffs had been replaced, but he still felt the strange energy in his arm. The moment he caught the blade, something inside him had shifted. He couldn't explain it. The door opened. A soft voice spoke. "Are you all right?" It was a young alien translator. Her name was Riva. She was part of the science group assigned to study humans. She had seen the event from the stands. Cole looked up, surprised to see a friendly face. "I'm alive," he said with a weak smile. Riva stepped inside, closing the door behind her. "I think you're more than just alive," she whispered. "You caught the blade. No one has ever done that." Cole nodded, unsure what to say. "Do you know what it means?" she asked. He shook his head. "In our ancient records, there's a story, a legend. It speaks of a soft one, a species considered weak, who would one day stop the weapon of death with bare hands. That one would break the chains of all those enslaved." Cole frowned. "Sounds like a fairy tale." "Maybe," Riva said. "But you just lived the first part of it." Cole looked down at his hand. It still tingled with energy. "Then maybe the story's not over," he said quietly. Cole sat alone in the dark cell. The energy cuffs were back on his wrists, but they felt weaker now, like they didn't fully control him anymore. His right hand still tingled. The feeling from catching the executioner's blade had not left. He didn't understand how he did it, but he knew something inside him had changed. Outside the cell, whispers spread across the core capital like wildfire. Everyone was talking about the human who had done the impossible. Some said it was a trick. Others believed it was fate. The people were afraid, but also curious. High above, in the Tower of Science and War, a group of alien leaders gathered. Their faces were serious. They watched the slow-motion footage over and over again, Vorak throwing the blade and Cole catching it with one bare hand. It wasn't a trick. No wires, no shield, no armor. "This is a problem," said one commander. "If a human can stop the blade, what else can they do?" "This human must be studied," said the head scientist. "His body may hold secrets we never imagined." The core were powerful. Their empire had ruled for centuries. They believed humans were weak and soft. But now one human had broken that belief in front of the entire galaxy. Back in the cell, the door opened again. Cole stood slowly. He expected more guards, maybe a new punishment. Instead, Riva stepped inside. The alien translator looked nervous. Her blue eyes were wide and her long silver hair was tied back neatly. She carried a tablet and wore a slim device on her ear. "You're being moved," she said softly. "To where?" Cole asked. "To the science chambers. They want to study you, inside and out." Cole raised an eyebrow. "Dissection or questions?" "I don't know," Riva whispered. "But I'll be there. I asked to join the research team. I want to help you." Cole looked at her closely. "Why?" "Because I saw what you did. And I believe in the story I told you. You're not just lucky. You're something new." The science lab was large and bright, with smooth black walls and glowing white lights. Alien. Machines hummed quietly in the corners. A team of core scientists stood waiting, their tools ready. Cole was placed on a floating platform. His cuffs were locked to the sides. He didn't resist. One scientist scanned his brain, another checked his blood. A third ran energy through his skin and measured the response. They worked silently, writing notes on glowing screens. But as the test continued, they began to notice strange results. "His cells are adapting to our energy waves," one whispered. "His nervous system is faster than before," said another. "Look at this," the head scientist said, pointing at the screen. "His body is absorbing our energy instead of resisting it. It's like he's learning from it." Riva stood nearby, recording everything. She kept her face calm, but her heart was beating fast. Hours later, Cole was placed in a recovery room. He lay on a padded bench, tired but not hurt. Riva came in quietly. "You're not normal," she said softly. Cole gave a weak smile. "I never claimed to be. They found something in your blood, a human virus, a simple one, but it seems like it's reacting to our energy and changing your body." Cole sat up. You're saying I'm mutating? Not exactly. More like evolving. Fast. He looked at his hand again. The tingling was stronger now. Riva stepped closer. There's something else. The scientists don't want me to tell you, but they're scared of you now. Why? Cole asked. Because they can't control you anymore. You stopped their most feared weapon with your bare hand. Now your body is doing things they can't explain. They don't know what you'll become. Cole stood. Let them be afraid. They made me a prisoner for no reason. They tried to kill me for a crime I didn't commit. Riva nodded slowly. There's talk among the soldiers. Some think you're a threat. Others think you're a sign. A sign of what? That the age of the core is ending. Meanwhile, in the military command center, Vorak, the executioner, knelt before the core council. I demand a second chance, Vorak said. That human humiliated me. I must destroy him. Let me prove he's nothing but flesh and chance. The council leader stared at him. You had your chance, and your blade failed. It was not the blade, Vorak growled. It was something else. Something inside him. I must face him again, before others start believing in him, the council whispered among themselves. Fine, the leader said. Prepare another execution, a public one. This time, in front of the Empire's eyes. And if he survives again? One council member asked. Then we will have to accept a painful truth, the leader replied, that the humans are not what we thought. Back in the recovery room, Riva handed Cole a small cloth-wrapped item. What's this? He asked. She looked around and whispered, A gift. Something I took from the lab, the blade. Cole unwrapped it slowly. It was a shard of the executioner's energy weapon, small but still glowing faintly. It didn't cut you last time, Riva said. See what happens now. Cole held the shard in his hand. It was warm but didn't hurt. The glow grew brighter, in his palm. It's like it recognizes you, she whispered. Cole looked into Riva's eyes. I didn't ask for this, but maybe it's time I stopped running. If they want to fear me, I'll give them a reason. That night, in the shadows of the city, whispers grew louder. Aliens who had lost hope heard of the human who stopped the blade. Rebels, slaves, and forgotten people began to look toward the prison walls with new thoughts. If one human could survive the blade, maybe they could too. The sky over the core capital turned dark with heavy clouds, but the execution arena was brighter than ever. Giant energy lights lit up every wall, and banners of the core dominion waved above the crowd. Tens of thousands had gathered. Soldiers stood in every corner. Hover cameras floated high in the air, ready to stream the event across the Empire. Everyone was watching. It was not just an execution anymore. It was a message. The core leaders wanted to remind the galaxy who held power, and the human named Cole stood in the middle of it again. But this time, he wasn't afraid. In the waiting room beneath the arena, Cole sat with calm eyes. His body had changed. He could feel energy moving under his skin. Every breath felt stronger. He remembered the shard Riva gave him, a piece of the executioner's blade. It was hidden under his sleeve, touching his wrist. The glow from the shard made his fingers tingle with heat. Riva stood beside him wearing a scientist's coat to blend in. They want to scare you, she whispered. They want the galaxy to think you're nothing special. Cole gave a small smile. Then let's make sure they're wrong. A loud alarm echoed down the hallway. It was time. Guards marched in. This time they didn't chain him. They only walked beside him, as if unsure how to treat him. As Cole stepped onto the stone platform of the arena, a wave of sound hit him. Cheering, shouting, chanting. Alien eyes watched from every level of the seats. Screens across the core worlds showed his face. And then, from the far end of the arena, Vorak entered. The executioner wore darker armor than before. His new blade glowed like fire, longer and brighter. His steps were slow, his body full of anger and pride. He raised the weapon to the crowd. They cheered louder. Cole looked at him without fear. The tall core priest began to speak. Citizens of the Dominion, today we correct a mistake. This human mocked our justice, but no one escapes the blade twice. Today we finish what we started. The crowd cheered again. Vorak took his place. Cole stood in the center. No chains, no shield. Just one human facing the weapon that had never failed. Vorak raised the blade again. He didn't speak. His hand moved like lightning. The blade flew through the air, burning bright, aimed at Cole's chest. But Cole was faster this time. He didn't just catch it. He caught it, spun with it, and threw it back. The blade shot through the air and slammed into the stone wall behind Vorak, slicing into it with a loud explosion. Silence. The crowd stood frozen. Cole walked forward slowly. "I didn't come here to die," he said, voice steady. "I came to finish this." Vorak roared in anger and charged. His armor crashed against the ground, but Cole moved with a speed that didn't seem human. He dodged, spun, and landed a blow with his bare hand on Vorak's chest. The hit cracked the outer shell of the core armor. Gasps echoed. Another blow, then another. Cole grabbed Vorak's weapon arm and twisted hard. The blade fell. It hit the ground and dimmed. Cole stepped back. Vorak was on his knees, breathing heavily, unable to continue. Cole turned to the crowd. He raised the broken weapon shard Riva had given him. It glowed bright now, as if feeding on the energy in the air. "This," he shouted, "is the truth they don't want you to see. I am no warrior. I'm just a man. But I caught the blade. I broke it. And now I return it to you." He threw the shard into the air. It burst into white light and faded like a star. "No more fear," he said. "No more lies." The silence in the arena turned into a roar, but not of cheers. It was confusion. It was rebellion. It was something new. All across the Empire, people, watching the broadcast, stood from their screens. On ships, in mines, and prisons, beings of every kind saw what had just happened. A human had faced the strongest warrior of the core empire, and he had won. Back in the Tower of Leaders, the core council stood in shock. "This is worse than failure," one said. "He's a symbol now," said another. "A symbol we can't control." The leader's voice was cold. "Then we must erase him. Today." Riva rushed to Cole as guards swarmed the arena. "You have to go," she cried. "They'll kill you now. You humiliated them in front of the galaxy." Cole nodded. "Then I need your help. I don't want to run, but I can't stay here." She gave him a small nod, then tapped her communicator. "I know someone. Underground rebels. They'll take us." Together, they slipped out a side gate. Cole's energy aura was still glowing faintly. Every alien guard that saw him paused in fear, letting them pass. They disappeared into the tunnels beneath the city. There, far from the eyes of the council, Riva introduced Cole to a group of aliens in hiding. They were all different shapes and sizes, species once conquered by the core. "You're the one who stopped the blade," a tall alien with green skin said. "I didn't stop it alone," Cole replied. "Your people believed in the legend. Riva believed in me. I only did what I had to." Another rebel stepped forward. "Will you fight with us?" Cole looked at his hands. Energy pulsed through his veins. He was no longer the same man who walked into the arena the first time. "I'm not a soldier," he said, "but I will stand for what's right. If that means fighting, then yes, I will fight." The rebels nodded, and so began a new chapter. Not just for Cole, not just for Riva, but for the whole galaxy. Because when one human stood against the executioner, he gave hope to all who had none. And now, the fight was just beginning. The underground tunnels stretched deep beneath the core capital. These tunnels were older than the city itself, built long before the current empire rose to power. Now, they had become a place of safety, a place of quiet rebellion. Hidden from the empire's eyes, small groups of rebels met here, planning, surviving, and waiting for a spark. And now that spark had arrived. His name was Cole, the human who caught the executioner's blade. Cole sat at a metal table in a dimly lit room. Around him were rebels from many different worlds. Some had scales, others had fur or feathers. Their eyes were tired, but there was something new in them now. Hope. He looked at Riva, who stood beside him, watching the others with caution. The green-skinned rebel leader, Thurn, stepped forward and spoke. You made the core bleed. We saw it, so did everyone, but now you must decide. Do you fight with us or do you run and hide? I didn't come here to hide, Cole said. I came here because I had no choice. But now I see what you're fighting for. And I won't walk away. Thurn nodded, pleased. Then we welcome you. Over the next few days, Cole trained with the rebels. They had no fancy weapons, no armor, just old rifles, simple tools, and courage. Cole helped them fix broken systems, build defenses, and learn new ways to move through the city undetected. But he was also changing. Every time he touched energy, even from the smallest battery, his body absorbed it. His strength grew. His speed sharpened. The shard from the executioner's blade, now embedded in a glove Riva made for him, pulsed with power whenever he focused. One night, Riva sat with Cole beside a dim lantern. You're not just strong, Cole. You're becoming something more. He looked at her. It scares me. Why? Because I don't know how far this will go. I don't want to lose who I am. Riva placed a hand on his shoulder. Then remember why you fight. Not for power, but for those who can't fight, for themselves. Cole nodded slowly. Her words reminded him of Earth, of the simple life he had before being captured. A life where strength wasn't measured in force, but in protecting others. Meanwhile, in the towers above, the core empire was beginning to break. News of Cole's survival had spread across dozens of systems. Slaves refused to work. Soldiers questioned orders. Small rebellions rose in mining colonies and cargo stations. The council leaders met again, their voices sharp with worry. He's just one man, shouted one. But he's more than a man now, another said. He's a symbol, a walking message that we are not invincible. The head of the council stood. We must crush the rebellion, and we must capture the human, dead or alive. A few nights later, a rebel scout rushed into the underground base. The council has sent a hunting team, elite guards. They're scanning every tunnel. Cole stood immediately. We can't stay here. They'll trap us, Thurn growled. We're not runners. But we're not fools, Riva added. We need to move. Cole turned to her. Is there another way out? There's an old freight tunnel, half buried, but it leads to the waste canals. If we make it there, we can disappear. Thurn agreed. Then let's go. The group packed quickly. Rebels moved silently through the dark, following Riva's lead. Cole stayed at the back, watching every turn. His glove glowed faintly in the dark. They reached the freight tunnel, but just before they entered, an alarm echoed through the air. Too late, one rebel hissed. They've found us. From the shadows behind them, elite core guards appeared, tall, armored, fast. Cole turned. Get everyone into the tunnel, I'll hold them. No, Riva shouted. You'll be killed. Cole smiled. Not today. He stepped forward, facing the oncoming guards. The blade in his glove activated, its glow pulsing brighter than ever. The fight was quick, but unforgettable. Cole moved like wind. He dodged, blocked, and countered with precision. Every time a guard struck, Cole absorbed the energy through his glove and struck back harder. The rebels watched from the tunnel entrance as Cole disarmed one guard, then another, but a blast hit him from behind. He stumbled, groaning, smoke rising from his back. Riva screamed, trying to run to him, but Thurn held her back. Cole turned slowly, his eyes now glowing faintly. I'm not done yet, he said. With one final strike, he unleashed the built-up energy through his glove. A wave of light shot out, knocking the last guards down like falling leaves. Silence. Then the rebels rushed forward, pulling Cole into the tunnel. He was weak, coughing, but alive. You saved us, Riva whispered. I just bought us time, Cole replied. The real battle hasn't even started. Hours later, deep in the waste tunnels, the group rested in a dry chamber. Cole lay on a blanket, recovering. Riva sat beside him holding a scanner. "You're healing faster than anyone I've ever seen," she said. "Part of the change," Cole muttered. "Does it hurt?" "Only when I forget to breathe." She laughed softly. "I'm serious," he said. "I feel like something is waking up inside me, and I don't know what it wants." Riva looked at him gently. "Then maybe it's time you decided what you want." Cole looked at the ceiling. The stars above were hidden, but in his heart he knew he would see them again. "I want them to know we're not afraid," he whispered. "That humans don't kneel, that we fight for what's right." Riva nodded. "Then let's make sure they remember it forever." Far above, in a secret core laboratory, a dark figure watched Cole's escape on a screen. "He's not just a threat," the figure whispered. "He's the beginning of the end." And in a chamber nearby, a hidden project stirred to life. An old weapon the core had locked away long ago, one they swore never to use again. But now, they would awaken it to stop a human. To be continued in Part 5. Cole leads a galaxy-wide rebellion, while the core unleash a final weapon to end it all. The last battle is near, and Cole must face more than just the Empire. He must face his own transformation. The waste tunnels were cold and quiet. The small rebel group rested there for the night, deep beneath the core capital. They had escaped death once again, but no one felt safe. Cole stood at the edge of the group, looking at his hands. His right glove glowed softly, the shard inside pulsing like a heartbeat. His skin was warm, his muscles stronger, his senses sharper. He was not just a human anymore. Riva walked up beside him, her voice low. "You're thinking too much again." "I feel it," Cole said. "Something inside me, bigger than before, but I don't know what it means." Riva looked at him seriously. "Whatever is happening to you, it's not a curse. It's a gift. Use it for something good." Cole nodded. "I will." That same night, far above the tunnels, the core council met in secret. They had lost control of their people. Systems were falling into chaos. Workers were rising up. Soldiers were refusing orders. The name Cole was being whispered across stars. The council's leader slammed his hand on the table. "Enough! He must be destroyed," a cold voice responded. "Then let us awaken the Titan." Everyone fell silent. The Titan was an ancient weapon buried deep within the core's own planet. It was a war machine powered by dark energy, so powerful they had sealed it away long ago, but now they had no choice. 3 days later, the rebels reached an old communication tower hidden in the hills outside the city. Thurn and his fighters worked fast, setting up signal boosters. Their goal was simple: send a message to every world watching. Cole stood before the camera. Riva adjusted the lens and nodded. "You ready?" she asked. "Let's make history," Cole said. The red light blinked. The message began. "To every being across the stars, and my name is Cole. I am human, and I am not your enemy." He paused. "I was captured, accused, and sentenced to die. But I survived. Not because I am special, but because your fear gave me strength. Your silence gave me purpose." He looked into the lens. "The core empire tells you that you are weak, that you must obey. But I say, enough. We are not tools. We are not slaves. We are people. And together, we rise." The screen went dark. Seconds later, the signal reached rebel cells across the galaxy. The effect was instant. Uprisings broke out on mining moons. Supply lines were cut. Core patrols were ambushed. Hope was spreading, and so was resistance. But the celebration didn't last. That same evening, the skies turned red. The ground shook. The air grew heavy. The Titan had awakened. A giant machine rose from the core of the planet, taller than any building. Its body was made of dark metal, covered in weapons and glowing energy veins. Its head had no face, just a single red eye. The core broadcasted a message across the galaxy. "This is your end. This is your punishment for rebellion." The Titan began to march toward the hills, toward the rebels. In the command tent, Riva's hands shook as she watched the footage. "They actually brought it back," she whispered. "The Titan hasn't moved in over 100 years, Thurn growled. "Our weapons are useless against that thing." Cole stared at the screen. "Then I'll stop it." Everyone looked at him. "That's suicide," Thurn said. "No." Cole replied, "It's my fight. The Corps made me a weapon. Now I'll show them what that really means." Riva stepped forward. "You're not alone." "No," Cole said softly. "But if I fail, they need you. The rebellion needs a voice. You're stronger than you think, Riva." She didn't argue. She just nodded, her eyes full of emotion. Cole walked to the cliff's edge as the Titan approached. He pulled off the glove. The shard of the executioner's blade had now fused with his skin, glowing bright blue. He stepped forward, one man against a giant. The Titan fired a blast of energy. Cole jumped to the side, faster than ever before. He ran toward the monster, dodging explosions, climbing a broken hill, and leaping onto the Titan's leg. Climbing fast, he reached its chest and placed his hand on the core. The energy was hot and violent, but he absorbed it. The Titan shook, trying to shake him off, but Cole held tight, now glowing brighter than ever. With one final shout, he released all the power he had collected. A burst of light shot through the Titan's chest. The machine froze, then cracked, then exploded. The shockwave knocked Cole backward. He fell to the ground, dust and fire all around. Silence. Then a cheer. The rebels ran toward him, lifting him from the dirt. He was weak, bleeding, but alive. Riva held his hand tightly. "You did it. You stopped it." Cole gave a tired smile. "No, we did." News spread quickly. The Titan was gone. The rebellion had won. The Corps Council fell within days. The people rose, the soldiers surrendered, and the rule of fear ended. Weeks later, Cole stood on a rebuilt platform in the center of the city. Riva stood beside him along with leaders from many freed worlds. He looked at the crowd, not as a warrior, but as a man who had simply refused to fall. "I was condemned to die," he said, "but I chose to stand." He raised his hand. "And now, I ask all of you, stand with me. Not as enemies, not as species, but as one people." The crowd cheered. A new future had begun. Final lines. The executioner's blade had never missed, until it met a human, and from that moment on, nothing in the galaxy would ever be the same.